let's go through a bit of shoulder health with the help of this guy. When we talk about a rotator cuff, we got 4 muscles. You can use the acronym of SITS. Supraspinatus, infraspinatus, teres minor, subscapularis. Okay, so they all have different functions. They're not all external rotators of the shoulder. But somebody could have really strong rotator cuffs, but if every other muscle that's attached to the scapula doesn't function and doesn't do their job, you're not going to get a fully functioning upper body. Let's go through a rotator cuff first. So you got your supraspinatus, which sits here superior to the spine of the scapula. Okay, it cuts under the acromion here and attaches to the outside of the head of the humerus. Okay, and what that does is when we talk about muscles, the 2 points pull when it contracts, which leaves us at abduction. Okay, raising that arm up out to the side. Then we're going to move on to the infraspinatus teres minor. Okay, they attach to the front of the humerus. Okay, and what that does is it pulls it into external rotation. Okay, that motion right there. And then we move on a little bit lower, subscapularis. Think of submarine under the water. It's a little bit lower, and it's going to be tucked away right in here, and that attaches to the inside of the humerus, resulting in internal rotation. And the job of the rotator cuff is to keep that head of the humerus as stable as possible inside the glenoid fossa in that joint. So it's a ball and socket joint. It moves around a lot, so it's got to be stable. We've got a levator scapula coming from our cervical spine right down to the top of your scapula. Okay, that's responsible for elevation. So we're going to have our rhomboids, a trapezius, and they're responsible for retraction. Okay, and that's the big one. A lot of people miss out on that, especially desk workers, because we're in that position. Your rhomboids, your trapezius are stretched the whole time because we're hunched over on that one. We also have our biceps, our triceps also attaching to our shoulder blade. And then we also have our serratus anterior, which is tucked away just under here. Typically you'll see on boxers as well if they're really, really lean. You'll have the muscle coming across here. It looks like abs just underneath your armpit here. That is the muscle, that's the serratus anterior. That's responsible for protraction. Okay, so separation of the shoulder blades. But we want to get good at all of these. We only get better at them if we train them the right way. No good training them if it's not the right way. So let's say if I just go, right, do your barbell, do your dumbbell, cable, single arm row. Okay, that's your row right there, elbow to hip. A lot of people will leave their shoulders forward because they're used to that position. So when they row, they do that. So it looks like a slightly rounded position. But if we do that and we're not getting into retraction through the scapula, it's not going to get better. We got to roll that shoulder back. Then we talk about serratus anterior. Okay, that is pretty much going to be any push motion that has an extra plus, let's say, on it. Okay, so let's go bench press. It's there to there. Okay, it's the extra rounding of that. It goes from here up a little bit more. Okay, bench press probably wouldn't be the best exercise, but let's say push up. And then when we talk about the function of the shoulder, okay, we're going to talk about our pecs and also our lats. So you got your sternal portion here, your clavicular portion here of the pecs, and they attach to the outside of that humerus. Okay, and what that does is when we talk about the muscles and we said they pull the 2 points together, it causes adduction, and then it's also going to cause internal rotation. So if you think about the exercises that is, it's chest flies, it's going to be bench press. When we look at your lats will originate from then here through thoracic lumbar fascia, right in through the inner lip of the humerus, okay, through the bicipital groove right in here. And what that's responsible for is shoulder extension, shoulder internal rotation, and adduction. So when we think about it, the shoulder actually has a lot of jobs to do. So it's like abduction, adduction, internal rotation, external rotation, extension, flexion. And what I didn't actually touch on is your deltoids. You got your head of your deltoid, front delt right here, attaching to the front of this humerus. It's going to result in that flexion. Okay, so you got all the muscles here that will attach to the shoulder and the scapula. They don't function, you're going to have injuries and it's going to be a nightmare.